Dave, Mark, and Liam pulled their truck onto the quiet lane in Hampshire. They were on their usual route, but something was different today. The quaint, ivy-covered house at the end of the lane was unusual in itself, with a garden that seemed frozen in time. They stopped, and Dave, ever the meticulous one, stepped out to collect the bin. As he reached for the bin, his hand froze. A piece of cardboard, propped against the top, revealed 5 tiny bundles of fur nestled together. Their eyes were barely open, their meows barely audible, but their vulnerability was unmistakable. They were kittens, barely a week old, and they were alone. Dave's heart lurched. He signaled to his mates, and together they carefully lifted the cardboard, marveling at the tiny, fragile creatures. The kittens, startled by the sudden movement, huddled closer, their tiny paws twitching. "We gotta get these little fellas to safety," Liam said, his voice thick with concern. They knew what they had to do. They loaded the cardboard into the truck, carefully tucking the kittens in, and raced to the nearest veterinary clinic. The veterinarian, a kind woman named Drive Davies, was immediately concerned. "They're so young," she whispered, gently examining the kittens. "They wouldn't have lasted long out here." Dr. Davies contacted Lina Hahn, an inspector with the Animal Welfare Society, who arrived soon after. She was stunned. "It's scary to think what could have happened to these little kittens if they hadn't been spotted by the litter pickers," she said, her voice shaking slightly. The kittens, despite their ordeal, were miraculously healthy. They were given names: Morel, Soroka, Molly, Penny, and Saffron. Dr. Davies carefully cleaned and fed them, and soon, the kittens were thriving. Their eyes had opened, their meows were stronger, and their tiny bodies were gaining strength. "All the kittens are doing well," Lina reported to the press, her voice full of relief. "They're opening their eyes, and they're getting stronger every day. They've been fed and bathed, and I took them to our local shelter where they were given into the care of one of the volunteers." The investigation into how the kittens ended up in the bin was underway. Lina spoke to the homeowner, a kind elderly gentleman who was shocked and horrified. He swore he had never seen the kittens before and had no idea they were there. Weeks turned into months, and the kittens, now playful and energetic, were ready for adoption. Their story had touched the hearts of many, and there were countless inquiries. The rescue organization, however, was determined to find the perfect homes for each kitten. One day, a woman named Amelia visited the shelter. She had lost her beloved cat recently and was heartbroken. As she approached the kitten enclosure, a small, fluffy kitten with bright green eyes, named Morel, leapt onto her lap. Amelia felt a surge of warmth and joy. She knew instantly that Morel was meant to be hers. The rest of the kittens found loving homes too, each one adopted by families who were touched by their story.